and gentlemen, with a huge round of applause, please welcome Mr. Muneer Kamal. Thank you, sir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And thank you very much for all the kind words young lady said about me. I've been thinking right from the morning that what am I going to say in my concluding remarks. First of all, I have to be very grateful to the chairman for making delegates come from Azerbaijan, Iran, Bangladesh. There was somebody from Shenzhen Stock Exchange, and the professor from George Washington. I think there was somebody from Hong Kong. So thank you very much. This is good. And one of the reasons why I think it's a great thing to do, our stock market, our capital market is done wonderfully. But we haven't taken this story out yet. So it's a good thing that we are now trying to explain where we are through regional connectivity. Because Pakistanis, we've become very inward-looking people. It's time that we go and flaunt what has happened. Look, Pakistan is, we have become stable, but the overall economic activity is not that great. What is good about Pakistan at the moment is our stock market, mashallah, is galloping. That shows the confidence of investors. And these are investors from Pakistan, by the way. In 2017, and correct me if I'm wrong, there are stalwarts sitting there, Amjad Saab and a lot of other people. In 2017, when we graduated to emerging markets, at that point in time, I think the foreign portfolio investment was about $4 billion, if I'm around that much, I think. Today, it's around $200, $300 million. Now, with $200, $300 million in the kitty, we've gone up to where we are at the moment. Just imagine when we go and tell our story to the outside world, which I think next year we should start doing that. There are many, many more upsides the stock market and the capital markets of Pakistan to look. I'm particularly emotional and delighted that Bangladeshi friends are here. All I can say is Amar Shonar Bangla and Ami Tumi Bhalobashi. And the reason, and there are more than one reason why I'm excited about it. But there's a fact that we have a shared history, and we are very proud of that shared history, at least. And the fact that there's stock market, there's something common between us and Bangladesh. Their ownership, 25% of the Chinese stock exchanges. We've got 30% Chinese stock exchanges. And which are the exchanges? And this is what the point that we need to emphasize to the outside world. Pakistan is owned 30% by Shanghai Stock Exchange, second largest on the planet. Shenzhen Stock Exchange, 6th or 7th largest on the planet. And China Future, the only derivative exchange of China. So when we did this transaction, and this is where I'm going to start, where we are today, the contribution by Chairman Akif, I'll come back to that. But when we concluded this transaction, I think late December 2016, 3 o'clock in the morning, by the way. And I said, today we've gone global because now we are owned by massive, huge stock exchanges in the world. But where we are today, there is a long history and there's a long travel that we had to do to reach this place. Let me explain you what happened between 2015, 16, and 17. Akif Saab was commissioner. Chairman was Hijazi Saab. And we started to achieve following. We wanted Pakistan Stock Exchange one entity. It was one of the most sensitive process to make Islamabad, Lahore, and Karachi owners convinced that a joint entity is better for all of us. Very, very sensitive. And the contribution that came from Commissioner Saab was invaluable. And I was chairman, so my job became very easy. Hijazi Saab, of course, was pillar behind the whole thing. But on a day-to-day basis, Akif and I used to work together. So we achieved that very sensitive process. if my memory holds it right, January of 2017, I think, or 16, sorry, of 16. We finally had that celebration in Islamabad. Extremely there. Now, the other thing that we did, and we need to do that, a lot of brokers think, no, we should not do that, but I'm convinced that we should play Premier League and not the First Division League. We set out to convince MSCI to push us to emerging market status. Now, if you remember, in 2008, we had shut down the market for 4 months. So the first time when we went and made our case in London to the MSCI, I think Shahid was with us, of course. ये भी हमारे सफर में शामिल थे. And the expression on their faces was, are you kidding me? Pakistan, an upgrade? हम 4 साल उनकी जिंदगी हिसाब कर दी. Again, supported massively by Commissioner Akif Said Saab. And finally, we convinced them in 2016, उन्होंने कहा, जान छोड़ो, हम आपको, we can't do it, but we'll put you on review. But the actual people who will do it are the investors. And that journey, I think Naseem Beg Saab और मैं, Bank of America में 5 या 6 investors को मिले. The last one was Vanguard. And in fact, the Vanguard said, you guys have convinced me, but you cannot absorb the kind of interest that will be generated by this. Now, unfortunately, the moment we achieved that in 2017, which, by the way, was absolute smooth transition, because MSCI was very scared because a year or 2 years before that, the transition done by Qatar, I think, was messed up completely, and UAE. But we achieved it without any problem. So that was the other thing that we achieved. And finally, the negotiations and the whole process of trying to get an investor. Now, why were we finding, why did we had to find an investor? Because we had, by the time Akif Saab and I came on the stage, the law of demutualization was already passed by the parliament. And according to that law, 40% of the entity had to be sold to a buyer with a certain specifics. Now, nobody in Pakistan qualified for that. So there was a law, parliament had acted, and we had to go out. We went to Qatar, we went all the places. But finally, we, I guess, convinced, or they were already ready to do that, the Chinese came. And at that point in time, by the way, this was 2016, December, 3 o'clock in the morning, Hijazi Saab said, कि भाई इनको को मान जाए कोई price पे. So anyways, it was very well negotiated by our broker community. And one thing I must applaud and tell you, all my experience with the stock exchange, and by the way, I was a banker, I had no idea capital market चीज़ क्या होती है, पता नहीं कैसे उन्होंने मुझे बना दिया. And I honestly not only enjoyed, I learned a lot. One thing I learned, we have a broker community which is battle hardened. ये उठते हैं, फिर हम इकोनॉमी को ख़राब करते हैं, वो फिर गिर जाते हैं, ये फिर कपड़े झाड़ के उठते हैं, फिर काम पे लग जाते हैं. And it is their perseverance and battle hardened tradition that keeps stock market high. 2008 में IMF प्रोग्राम आया, 4 महीने के लिए हमने मार्केट बंद कर दी. 2013 में फिर IMF एग्रीमेंट, 2019 में फिर IMF एग्रीमेंट, 2022 में फिर एक मिनी IMF एग्रीमेंट, and as we speak, another IMF agreement, and every time an IMF agreement came, the market collapsed. So thank God we have this, and I have grown up respecting this broker community from the bottom of my heart. Very strong-willed, of course. उनको मैनेज करने के लिए हमारे वराइज साहब बैठे हैं, आकिफ साहब बैठे हैं. So the regulators are there, but honestly, they're brave people. They take risks, and mashallah, so far, the way we are going at the moment, they are right in their approach. So I'm not going to waste too much of your time. Thank you very much, Akif Saab, for hosting this. And again, I'm absolutely delighted that the foreign delegates are also here. Some joined digitally. We're in good shape as far as the capital market is concerned. We're in very good shape, I think. We need the economy to also start moving in the right direction, and there is no reason why it should not. What Akif Saab in his speech said a couple of things. One thing that he said was digital side. Whether it is the banking side, because I'm also PB estate, the digital side transition is an absolute must. And some of the activities taking place there, both on the capital market side and the banking side, are very, very encouraging. So in the end, thank you very much. delighted to be part of this activity. God bless you. Thank you.